I guess in the beginning it wasn't planned. It was something that I was just taking it step by step, one foot in front of the other, from small success to small success. You know, you look up and you have a decision to make, go to college and move to LA, you know, and kind of pursue this dream. Hi, my name is Michael B. Jordan, and this is the timeline of my career. So my first IMDb credit was The Sopranos in 1999. I was about 12 years old, and I was just, one of the extras, one of the background kids. I think I might have snuck in a couple lines. I was definitely an under five player at that time, and I was a bully. I was bullying Tony during one of his therapy sessions, and it was a flashback. He was just like kind of talking about his childhood and I guess how he used to get bullied on the boardwalk, and I was one of those bullies. And at that point, I think the most exciting thing about being on set, the fact that I was not in school. I think it was one of the first times that I got a chance to skip school, to go to the city and work. At that time, The Sopranos, I mean, we didn't know that it was gonna be, you know, as epic of a show as it is today. The Wire for me was a very pivotal moment in my career. First time I auditioned for Alexa Fogel, went in for Bodie at first. I read for him, and I was too young, so they brought me back the next day for Wallace, and I ended up booking the role. Again, another one of those shows, and I guess characters that in its first season, we never knew what it was gonna actually be. We were actually supposed to be canceled after season 1, and they got renewed. I take pride in Wallace because, being an OG of the show, one of the original cast members, even though I got killed off towards the end of the season, it seemed to be a death on television that resonates with a lot of people even today. I still get the Where's Wallace shout outs, as I'm walking through the street. I think a lot of the right people watched that show at that point in my career. A lot of casting directors, a lot of producers, a lot of people in powerful places that, I guess became fans, at a young age. So when I did audition for the next show or got a chance to, take general meetings and stuff like that, it was always a lot of love. So that went a long way. One of the things on The Wire is that nobody was safe. Everybody can go. I guess the best reference for that is like Game of Thrones nowadays. Like, everybody gets a shot to get killed. You usually just get the script, you read through it. You just flip through it the first time just to make sure your name, is at the end of the episode, and then you go back and actually read it. And for me, I had that moment where David Simon, he comes, knocks on your trailer door, and you never want that knock on your trailer. So he knocked on my door and basically said, "Look, Mike, we love you, everybody loves you, but that's exactly why we have to kill you, and Wallace has to go." And it was a sad moment for me. At that point, it was just like, me leaving my family. Just looked at everybody as my big brothers and sisters, and I was like, man, this all just has to stop. I'm not gonna work anymore. But he was like, "You'll be fine, everybody. You'll be great." And then the death scene. The death scene was very emotional. I remember my mom being on set. She was in Video Village, and you could just hear her sobbing and crying and stuff like that. It was pretty distracting. I was like, "Ma, please, somebody please just take her off set. Please take her off set." But it was a good time looking back at it. Friday Night Lights. So crazy, Peter Berg texted me this morning randomly. I had an audition, went in there. One of the things about Friday Night Lights and Pete Berg, in his system, he loves improv. He loved improv and ad-libbing. And I was in the audition room, and it was a scene where Vince Howard was supposed to be giving his huddle, his like halftime huddle speech to his team and getting everybody like fired up and stuff like that. And I'm improv, and I'm talking, and I'm doing my thing, or whatever the case may be. And Peter Berg's just like throwing things at me, saying things, and just like yelling at me, trying to get me motivated. And to the point where I just like instinctually just ran at him and just tackled him right there in the middle of the room. And I was like, all right, I either got the job or I'm getting kicked out of here. So, we all know how that went.
It's gonna matter one bit. It doesn't matter how many games we win, how many touchdowns I throw. All they see is a bunch of thugs, coach. Everybody thinks it, but they never say it.
Vince Howard is one of those characters that leaves people talking. What could have happened? Where did he go to school? Did he go pro? Did he not? Did he become a coach? What was his future? I think, Vince, had the world at his fingertips. I think he really cared about his family. He obviously loved sports, very athletic, found a father figure in Coach Taylor, made peace with his own dad. I've decided to go. Who knows? I would like to think he went to college. For me personally, I'm a Michigan State fan.
Michigan State.
He went to Michigan State.
Taking my talents, answering.
Went to the league. Hall of Famer? Maybe? Hall of Famer. Fruitvale Station for me was, I guess, the first time that I ever had an opportunity to carry a film. I think inside, as an actor at that age, was pretty insecure and, not really confident in what the future was going to be. This was like my opportunity to really like show what I can do. As a black man at the time, there was a lot of police shootings really coming to the forefront, and felt very frustrated and angry and didn't really have an outlet to say how I feel and express myself. And just so happened, perfect timing, Ryan Coogler was developing the script around the shooting of Oscar Grant in his hometown. And it was the perfect connection. I needed him at that time and he needed me, whether we knew it or not. I read that script, it was very emotional. I got a chance to meet him, found a kinship in him, a brotherhood. We connected. We set out to tell that story, and we became very, very close. And, the way that movie impacted, my career, his career, the lives of, the Grant family, everybody in Oakland, across the country, and, hopefully I would like to think around the world, got a chance to experience a little bit of what Oscar Grant was like.
I should have stopped this one with your father. I'm stopping this one now.
Don't, okay? Let me finish. I gotta prove it.
Prove what?
I'm not a mistake.
For me, Creed was something that me and Ryan talked about before we shot one frame of Fruitvale Station. It was something that was in his head a long time ago. I remember him just asking me, like, "Hey man, I'm doing this movie about, Apollo Creed's son. Do you wanna play him?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it." We haven't shot one frame, one scene of the movie, but that's the type of relationship me and Ryan had. And during that production, Ryan was running back and forth to, MGM, Sly, just trying to, make it happen, trying to, to convince Sly to kind of come back in a role that he wasn't really planning on doing. And yeah, that process was another milestone moment for me. First time I was able to really change my body like that, training. Taking on an iconic role, playing Apollo Creed's son was really important as well. I want to say this was the first time I worked with an actor from The Wire since I left the show.
Boys coming here, this how they survive. They gotta fight for life. Kill or be killed, people dying there. Your daddy died in the ring.
And working another iconic franchise was a good time. It was fun.
Joe! Of course. Why would I be expecting anything?
I have a lot of great relationships, and sometimes things just come randomly from different places. Want to say Ava hit me up on this one. Might be wrong, but I think she hit me up and was just basically saying that she was directing this video for them. And I was like, sure, let's do it. I mean, I'm one of those guys, I get a phone call from somebody within the, the film community that I'm cool with and trust. It's like, we're always down to collaborate on and be creative on certain things. And I heard her vision and a story that she wanted to tell, and I definitely wanted to be a part of it.
My stash can't fit in the Steve Harvey suit. I'm clear while I'm here.
And it was incredible, that album, what they represent, what they were trying to say during that album, I think was very influential, and I was just pretty happy to be a part of it.
What do you want?
I want the throne. Erik Killmonger for me was first time playing a villain. Ryan just called me up and was like, "Hey man, I'm doing this thing. I think it'd be a good look, for you to, kind of step out of your comfort zone and do something different and then play a role that people haven't had a chance to see you play." And, so we started talking about, design, character design, looks. We want to create an iconic hairstyle, something that would be in style, in 2 years, or something that we would kind of influence kids and, people that want to kind of imitate. And it was a heavy role. It was a role that I didn't know how deep I was going to get into it until I think it was over. You just kind of try to make decisions that feels right in the moment. I didn't really have a set plan. It was just like day by day, really just like living in the moment and doing what feels right. Pretty isolated. I kind of stayed away from people that I cared about and family for a long time, because that was, I guess, one of the main things with Erik. He was like a really lonely person. So I tried to embody that as much as I could. Afterwards, it kind of stuck with me for a minute. There's no blueprint. There's no guidelines to getting into character and getting out, and what that looks like, what that feels like. So just tried to find my way through, lean on people that's done it before in the past, and just try to learn and grow from it. Tell me everything that happened. The first time I visited death row, I wasn't expecting to meet somebody the same age as me, from a neighborhood just like ours. could have been me, Mom. This movie is extremely important. You know, Bryan Stevenson is not a perfect person, but I say this life, but he's damn close. The guy has dedicated his life to a cause where few people can say that they have. You know, such an important issue, such an important topic, you know, for this nation, and he's taking it head on. Tried to be around him as much as possible. Tried to learn, you know, from him. Tried to get the essence of who he is. At first, I didn't even know who he was, and I was really embarrassed at that. So after I listened to his TED Talk and really got a full scope of his work and what he stood for, it was intimidating, but at the same time, I felt responsible to kind of take this story and share it with the world and try to get as many people as possible to see this film. If you hear his words, if you know his story, and that doesn't move you, that doesn't, you know, make you think or want to ask the right questions, want to ask questions, period, I think that's a problem. You know, he's such a powerful speaker, and his presence is truly incredible. Just tried to embody that, you know, working with Destin and Jamie and Bree and, you know, all the producers, Gil and Asher, you know, we all collectively, you know, over the past couple of years, just trying to craft this story. You know, Just Mercy is such a dense book with so much in there. We wanted to just pick through a few of the most memorable cases and moments throughout that book and make a movie that, you know, was well-rounded, that made people think that was an honest portrayal of his journey. And hopefully we did that. I've looked back 20 years, crazy to say 20 years of anything. You bet on yourself, I bet on myself. And just continue just to work, you know, and try to grow and learn from each experience. And then, 20 years later, you know, a production company, you know, I got, you know, a great team around me, projects that I'm extremely proud of, focused, and just can't wait to continue to grow and do projects that you guys are hopefully, you know, proud of too.